What's up, everybody? We are back. John Delarose here, delarose.com. That's DELARROZ.com. And you can head to my newsletter there, get a free graphic novel. It's in the description below. And I should also, before I start, mention that I've got a holiday bookstore I just put up on Indiegogo. So if you have been meaning to check out my comics, you can get them. You can get a digital single issue pretty cheap. You get a digital graphic novel, full graphic novel, very cheap. And you can go all the way up and you can buy my whole collection. This is actually a pretty good deal because I looked at the kind of the cost of my collection, and you get $90 off and you get everything. So I've got this up for the holidays. We're going to try to just get people books, and so you guys can have fun. If you missed Flying Sparks Volume 4, it's on here. Now, all the books are on here. So you go digital graphic novel, and if you get one, there's like a drop-down menu in there where you get to choose which one you want. So it's all very simple, and I hope you guys will check it out and grab good books. That's what this is all about. And it's not exactly what Marvel Comics seems to be all about. Nice transition, JDA. I'm still sick, so I'm sorry about my voice and all that, but this cold actually got me pretty good. So I watched that Marvel 616 episode on Disney Plus that everybody's ranting about on Twitter. And it just shows the comic creation process from a Marvel method, quote, perspective. Now, I've worked in the Marvel method. I know a lot of writers don't do that at all anymore, but I've actually done 2 graphic novels in that form. And it's something where you really need to be tight with your artist and really need to be on the same page and working hard together in order to do. But the way Marvel framed it is that when they use it, they just use it because somebody's behind on their deadlines and really not doing the work. And it actually opened with this sequence, which was really cringy. And they tried to be cute. It's one of those like self-deprecating humor things. Everybody is kind of making a bigger deal out of it than it actually is, to be honest. But it is a bad look when you open up this sequence where it is somebody, one of your top writers, writing, and they go, "Oh, Twitter, I'm going to go check this," and can't finish his sentence, right? So that's how they opened it. That's how they set the expectations. That's what the fans then saw. And then you get this whole conglomeration of just random stuff. Like, we use the term work loosely when it comes to Dan. This is Tom Brevoort, who is a longtime editor at Marvel Comics. You know, again, it's meant to be self-deprecating humor, but when you pile all this up, you come away with the impression that the guy's just not working. And you get more and more of it. You know, I'm really Dan's deadline helper. Christos Gage is a pretty decent writer. And they said Gage came in and just filled in the dialogue because Slott was too far behind in order to get this going. Oh my gosh, I'm going to cough here. I'm just trying not to laugh. If I laugh, I'm going to cough, and it's a big deal. But crazy. I can't even imagine like being a comic scripter and not being able to just finish off your scripts and finish things off to be able to get it done. Even doing the Marvel method, it's like, that makes it that much easier because you can just go in and the artist does the heavy lifting as was mentioned. And then you go back in and just fill in the dialogue as per what it looks like. It's really a neat process. It's really fun. It's really great to let the artist flex their creative muscles. It's really great on your end if you're just trying to get scripts done and just and trying to get something fun out for a story. It can work very well, but under these conditions, I mean, here's the letterer. If I have no script, I'm just looking at the art and there's nothing I can do. There's this whole sequence where the letterer is just waiting on the script. And it's like, why? And it's strange. So this was a strange presentation. And what I came away with is the letterer is a good guy and a hard worker. Christos Gage is a good guy and a hard worker. The artist, Pete Woods, is a good guy and a hard worker. But there's just one person holding up the entire process. And it's odd. Dan Slott's been at Marvel for decades now. He did a 10-year run on Spider-Man. And you got to just be like, what is going on here? Like, what could be more important than actually just getting an Iron Man book out that you've been contracted to do? I have written a lot of comic scripts, hundreds. And I've produced now 28 comics, which are complete and out. And I'm never the holdup for my artists. I get my scripts done if I'm taking my time on it and really just like really thinking about the plot. But I usually have the plot done in advance as I kind of know where I'm going with things before I start scripting. Usually takes me about 5 days to a week. But if I'm really trying to go fast and really focus and trying to get things done, I can get a script done in a day for a comic. So there's really absolutely no reason for this to exist. And especially when you work with the Marvel method is an example where you just lay out like a loose plot and then just hand it to the artist. It should take you like 30 minutes to make a Marvel method quote script. So if you can't do 30 minutes of work, what's going on? And that's the impression that you unfortunately have to be left with after watching this. It was a very bizarre thing for Disney to put up there. Moreover, I thought the sequence was also very strange because when they were showing Dan Slott writing in his little world right here, let me get back to that screenshot. You see his little writing behind him. You can't really see it in the screenshot, I guess, but he's actually laying out panel by panel stuff here. And the Marvel method is not laying out panel by panel stuff here. So they're either lying that it was done in the Marvel method or this sequence just had nothing to do with it, which is just a weird way to frame things. I'm not sure what was going on, in the minds of the filmmakers here as they made this show, but it really didn't look good for anybody all the way around. I mean, here we go. Dan's terrible with his deadlines again. I just don't know. I talked to several comic scripters in the industry who are probably not allowed to talk to me, and I'm not going to name names, but they mentioned their frustrations in that, like, they work really hard to hit their deadlines. They're very good about it. I'm always very good about it. I make my own self-imposed deadlines, and I don't even have anybody to report to. And I'm never not on time with my comic books. I mean, even when it's in the artist's court to get things done, I'm still on time just because I'm pushing the artists to get things done. But on my end, there's just never an excuse. Even when I'm sick here, I'm still churning out scripts and getting things done because you just got to get things done. It just doesn't make sense to me at all as a professional. What could you possibly be doing? I don't know. There's no other work environment in the entire world other than, say, comics that you would be able to get away with something like this and be able to celebrate it via a documentary and say, I'm really not doing the work. I mean, that is just a weird takeaway. But that's where we're at today. I don't know. So I've read a lot of Dan Slott's work personally. I've read his Silver Surfer, which I thought was very good. And I've read his She-Hulk, which I thought was very good. And I've read this miniseries called Spider-Man Human Torch, which was also very good. I don't know if it's done in Marvel method or if it's just the artists who are actually making these books good. And I don't, it's hard to tell when you've got a team like that who's really responsible for what's good. But I haven't read anything bad. Now, I know a lot of people aren't liking the current stuff. And I've seen that Dan Slott also has a trend in the way that he does things. He likes to come up with plots that really upset the audience to get people to talk about it, right? So when Superior Spider-Man hit, which I have not read, the whole concept of Dr. Octopus taking Peter's head and he's going to be Spider-Man from now on, quote, from now on, is really upsetting, to an audience member who's like been following Peter Parker for X amount of years. Now, if you go in with the plan of undoing it at a certain point, which of course they're going to do, and they did, that mitigates things. But what they did at the time and what they always do with every one of these situations is they did not tell the fans that it's going to reset back to normal. And so the fans all flip out about it. And I guess something like that's going on with his Fantastic Four right now, which I'm also not reading. But, if you see the pattern, it is what it is. Now, I don't know if it sounds like it works, and that's why they keep doing it, because this is something that they do in comics all the time, is get fans flipped out. And if they talk about it, I guess it gets people to buy it. And that's how it all works. But I'm tired of that kind of like storytelling. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, when I see that sort of thing, I find that it's an insult to the fans' intelligence. It's an insult to the reader's intelligence. You're telling the reader this is going to happen, and then you bait and switch them at the end of the day. And then it all resets back to normal. And that's why I don't read a lot of modern comics, or if I do, I wait until like a run's complete and get the omnibus that's just full with the full story, so I don't have to like deal with those sorts of elements of the comic industry. You really shouldn't be trying to insult your reader's intelligence. And in books, like actual novels, which I also write, nobody really does that. So it is something that is unique to the comic industry and seems to be something that they use, I guess, because they just don't have a lot of faith in their storytelling to be able to sell things. And that's my big takeaway here. These companies don't have a lot of faith in their own storytelling abilities at this point, and they're terrible with deadlines. Crazy. All right. Well, that's it. I don't have much else with this. It's just a very bizarre thing that they released this documentary. And we'll see what happens from this point forward. I'll be monitoring the situation. And thank you guys for being there. Again, make sure to head to my Indiegogo store. I'll put this link down in the description. If you like good comics that aren't going to insult your intelligence, that are just going to be fun, that are going to be complete stories in an issue, this is where you should go. So check it out. I'll be back soon, guys.